So, Joker is now out in theaters. It's been out for a weekend now, so if you have not already seen the film, please go off this video, go watch this film. It's one of the best of the year, if not the best. It's tied for my favorite right now with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And we're going fully into spoilers. It's not going to be like a scene by scene because I've only seen it once, and that was last Thursday, and today's Monday. So I don't remember everything, but I just really wanted to talk about this film because it is that good. Joaquin Phoenix in this film does such an incredible job. He has to take a character that's been done multiple times and somehow make it his own, and he does. He's one of the best out there. I think him and Heath Ledger are the best. I don't think he's as good as Heath Ledger, but that's just an opinion. Heath Ledger is also my favorite supporting performance of all time in The Dark Knight, so it's probably that. But just some of the scenes that are crazy and some of the things he does, he really has the screen presence that he needs, and that scene, or entire sequence I'll call it, on the talk show at the end is just fantastic. And when he says the last line, I think, from him, where he's talking about the joke to his therapist, and then he's like, "You wouldn't get it," and he's thinking of like Bruce Wayne standing over the body of his dead parents. And I only have one complaint with this film, and it's like the littlest nitpick ever. I wish that the guy who killed the Waynes in this took off his Joker mask before he did it. That's it. That's my only problem with this film. But it's not even a problem. That's just a little thing. I was like, I could get over it. It didn't really affect me, but that's one I was just like, ah. This film is just incredible. It looks amazing too. The shot of Joker as he's kind of coming on to the show, he's dancing in front of the curtain and they're pulling it. All the colors just look amazing. And Robert De Niro was amazing in this movie too. He was awesome. There were plenty of comparisons to Scorsese films, especially Taxi Driver, and there's one scene in particular from The King of Comedy that they totally injected into this, but that didn't bother me. I can see why it bothers someone, but I'll talk about that last. The violence in this film, my favorite scene is the scene on the train where he kills the three men. That scene just made me go, whoa, because I'd heard there's violence, but not a lot of it, and yeah, but the thing about the violence in this film is it feels so real. I'm totally fine with violence, but in this film, it just felt so damn real. Like, when he shot those guys, I was like, oh my god. You could see that's kind of his, that's his Walter White to Heisenberg. That's Arthur Fleck slowly becoming Joker in this. It's fantastic. Just the direction, cinematography, the writing is amazing. Joaquin Phoenix's performance is my favorite thing about this film. The way that he just portrays such a creepy guy, but you feel bad for him, not in a way where you want to go out and kill someone as the media says. Also, people on Instagram, right before this movie started, like maybe 15 minutes before I was on my phone in the theater, don't go on during the movie because that's annoying as fuck. I was scrolling through Instagram on my review account, and somebody posted one of the shots that are the ending with all the cop cars and he's smiling. Don't put that on Instagram without a spoiler warning, and you need to put 2 if you're putting the slides, because sometimes when you're scrolling down it like goes to the second one, so that kind of pissed me off, but it didn't really spoil much. But the scene that just kind of made me go woo was the scene where he killed Robert De Niro, because that gunshot felt so real, because he was planning, pretending to shoot himself before with the gun, and then he shot him in the face and shot him a few other times, and I was like, holy shit. You see him when he gets on that talk show, he's not Arthur Fleck anymore, he is the Joker, and the Joker is my favorite villain of all time. And this is the best origin story he could have gotten in a film. I haven't read any comics, I think I might have read one, but I don't think it had the Joker in it. Another great scene is the hospital scene where we get the line and he takes the pillow and he's like, I used to think my life was a tragedy, but then I realized it was a fucking comedy, and he like chokes out his mom, adoptive mom, and that scene where we figure out that he's adopted, it was heartbreaking. And we learn that his mom's totally lying about all the Thomas Wayne stuff. Just the acting in this film was incredible. The writing, they did smart stuff. They took me in turns that I did not expect, and it was incredible. I loved everything about this film except for that little mask thing at the end, but we're gonna ignore that. I loved everything about this film. Todd Phillips made a masterpiece, and the fact that Todd Phillips, director of The Hangover and Old School, two fantastic comedies, made this gritty, taxi driver-ish film is just incredible. I loved it, and if you have not seen it, I hope that you clicked off this and went and saw it. There's not enough I can say in a review of how much I love this film and how much I truly think this is a great piece of cinema. Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix had something to say about society, and they put it into a Joker film, and I think that's just incredible. And with that, I'm going to talk about some of the comparisons that I found while watching it and that I can remember. There's probably more, but these are actual like visual things. And if you haven't seen Taxi Driver, please click off, because Taxi Driver is one of my favorite films. It's one of the best films. Like, if I were to make a top 10 best films of all time, Taxi Driver would be in there. There's obviously the iconic from Taxi Driver with all the blood in his face, and they do that quite a bit in this film. There's a scene in the elevator, and then he turns around, and he does, and then Arthur is like, hey, and he thinks it's so funny. There's a scene, like another one from Taxi Driver, where he gets the gun, and well, in Taxi Driver he gets the gun from the guy that he knows, and then in this one he gets the gun from the guy who works with him, and he's testing it out in his apartment, and he aims it at the TV like this. That's a direct thing from Taxi Driver. And another thing from The King of Comedy, which I watched the night before seeing this for the first time, which is pretty solid, kind of really underrated, was the scene where he's practicing to go on the talk show, or the Murray show, I think it's called, and he's practicing, and that's the scene where he pretends to like shoot himself in Joker, and he like records himself, I remember. But yeah, those are the comparisons that I caught on to. Comment down below any more, or any other films, especially of Scorsese's. I love this film, and Joaquin Phoenix's performance is groundbreaking. It's one of the best of this decade. Also, I just remember this, another comparison to Breaking Bad was on that bus. It looks like a scene, I don't know if it really is, but it looks like a scene from the episode Peekaboo from Breaking Bad. I won't say what happens, but in case you haven't seen Breaking Bad, it's not really a spoiler, but if you've seen it, you'll probably know what I mean, and it's all over Instagram too. Thank you all for watching. Comment your spoiler opinion down below on Joker. Check out my normal review, it'll be at the end of this video, and I will see you guys next time. Over and out.